welcome to Paint & Planet and our very first painting tutorial that I've ever done online. And I would like to apologize ahead of time in case you hear the puppy in the background whining and making noises, because he's super excited about the new place he's venturing out to right now in the studio. So what we're going to be painting today is a sunset picture, and I have LJ doing the recording for me. Thanks, LJ. And I have Miss Jalen. She's going to be joining me and painting along, and I hope you're going to paint along with me at home. So grab your canvas and go ahead and grab some paints. The colors that I'm going to be using today are purple, blue, pink, turquoise, red, orange, and yellow. And then I got some black and some white. So go ahead and grab your paintbrushes and your apron, and let's get started. Before we get started painting, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, we're going to use an angular brush, and I have two of those, and then I have a number 12 flat brush, a number 4 flat brush, and a number 4 round brush. Now if you don't have these brushes at home, you can use anything you have. We're also going to need a flat edge to make our horizon line. The horizon line is the line that separates the sky and the ground. And it's really important when we're doing that our line is straight. And that's where we're going to start. So if you'll grab your flat edge and a pencil, then go ahead and put your horizon line on. Now I don't like to do my horizon line in the middle, and I don't like it too low. I kind of like doing the middle of, just a little below the middle of your canvas. You know, if you do it down lower, you're going to have more sky. If you do it higher, you're going to have more water. And in this case, we want to accent the sky, so we're going to put more sky. So very lightly, you don't have to do this very dark. Use your pencil and just drag the pencil across your flat edge to make a nice straight line. Once you have that line drawn, we're going to be ready to paint. Now I'm going to probably move a little faster, and you just paint at your own speed. What? Okay, paint at your own speed. Alright, so today we're going to be painting with acrylics, and little thing that you should know when you're painting with acrylics, we want to make sure to keep our paintbrushes clean. So when you're not using your paintbrushes, make sure to keep them in the water. Go ahead and clean them. And the proper way to clean your brushes is to take the paintbrush all the way to the bottom of whatever your cup of water is, and then wipe the excess water off and do it again until all the paint is clear. And then you can dry your paintbrush on a napkin, or you can use that water that's on your paintbrush to make the paint a little bit thinner. Now we're going to start off at the top of our canvas with the darker colors, because normally when you're painting, you paint the top darker and the bottom darker, and it draws your eye to the center. So we're going to start out at the top. So let's go ahead and, using our dark blue, we're going to put paint on both sides of our angular paintbrush. And we're going to paint with this swooping motion like this. So we're going to start out on the top edge with the dark blue, and we're painting kind of like we're painting in a swooping motion all the way across the canvas. Now I like to paint my edges as I go. Just going to put a little paint on the edges and across the top. And I like to do that as I go. This is called gallery wrapping your canvas. Just makes your artwork look a little bit more finished. Okay? Now the next time I'm going to go in to get some paint, I think I'm going to go into the dark purple. And I don't have to clean my brush between these colors, because I want these colors to kind of blend. So I'm going to overlap that dark blue a little bit, overlap it just a little bit, and with the same swooping motion, we're going to paint in a up and down swooping motion all the way across our canvas. And we're blending those two colors. Once you put some purple on, then you could forth with purple, turquoise, and pink. And I'm going to go ahead and do that a little bit. Now, I'm not going to go all the way down to my horizon line. I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to figure if my hand is sitting on the horizon line, I want to bring this down just about to right there. So a hand width up, maybe an inch above my hand, is where I'm going to stop going back and forth with these colors. But I'm going to put them in this sweeping motion that I'm doing, kind of like I'm making the letter U shape. I also can put in some pinks. We're going back and forth with the colors that we have on our palette. Turquoise, pink, and purple. And as you come down, we want to get lighter and lighter. Now, let's just go ahead and work our way down the canvas. Painting in this swooping motion. Up. Okay. I think I want a little more pink as I'm working down. So I'm going to do with pink down here. And then I have purple and blue in my brush, so if I push a little bit harder, it comes out with purple. I'm going to put some pink over here. Keep painting my edges as I go. And then blend. When I get ready to blend, I'm going to blend all the way across. Okay. I'm going to go all the way up, just softly touching my canvas and blending all my colors. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to work down here in the bottom part of my canvas. I'm going to go ahead and put my paintbrush in the water so that that paintbrush won't dry out. And I'm going to go to my number 4 round brush, and I'm going to paint the sun. Now, for the sun, I'm going to use a little bit of the yellow, and I'm going to put it over here on this plate, and I'm going to take a scoop of white, and I'm going to mix the two colors so that I have a nice bright yellow. Okay, I'm going to paint my sun, which is the circle. If you're not really good at painting circles, find something around your house that you can use as a template to paint your circle. And if you don't get your circle perfectly round, it's okay, because you can always paint a cloud or something kind of partially in front of the sun. Now remember, when you're painting the sun, things that are up here are going to be reflected down here. So we want to make sure that wherever that sun is, we're going to reflect the sun under the horizon line into the water. So we'll go back over here to the yellow, and right under the sun, under the horizon line, we're going to paint using back and forth strokes like this with that little brush. We're going to paint the sun reflection. Now it's not real wide up here because it's the same size as the sun starting out. And as you come down, it comes out a little bit further and a little bit further. And as you get closer to the bottom, it spreads out just a little bit more. And it ends wider at the bottom. Okay? Now you can take, after you put the reflection in, you can take a little bit of white and you can put some white in there. Just don't blend it much. Just put a little bit here and there like water reflection. A little bit of light on the water. Okay? Now we're going to go back to the angular brush. So get it good and clean. Get all the blues out that you can get out. Once your brush is nice and clean, go ahead and dry it with a paper towel or a rag or whatever you have. And then that's not very clean, so you clean some more. We want to make sure to get all the blue out because blue and yellow make green. And if we get those two colors mixed up, we're going to have green in our sky. All right, so now we're looking at, we're going to go back to the sun here. So around the sun, let's put a little bit of yellow and a little bit of orange on your brush. And then around the sun, we're going to start painting out with yellow and orange. I accidentally got a little bit in my sun, so I'm just going to blend the two colors a little bit. In fact, you know what? Go ahead with the orange and go across your horizon line. And then just blend it back and forth as you're going up with the orange and the yellow. So you could go back and forth with orange and yellow. So we have a nice, bright orange and yellow sunset. A little bit of yellow and a little bit of orange, blending back and forth, filling in the space. Don't forget your edges. Now when we get up here, where the two colors are going to meet, we're going to go back into the swooping motion again. So it's kind of a little bit of a rounded swoop where the two colors meet. And you can use orange or yellow or both. Get the edges good. Where the two colors meet, just overlap a little tiny bit so that the two colors kind of blend together. Right. Now remember what I said, whatever's going on up here is also going to be going on down here. So we're going to paint in the water using these same colors here. But instead of the swooping motion, water we're going to paint left to right. So maybe starting where your reflection is, go ahead and put some some orange going out from your sun rays all the way across your canvas to the edge. Then go back to the yellow and do the same thing with yellow. Just filling in all of this space with orange and yellow. And sometimes, depending on what I want reflected, I do blue or I do purple. with this one today, I think I just wanted to stick with these colors. I might add a little bit of purple here in a little bit. So once you get those colors on, we want to blend them where there's no white spots here showing. So back and forth, we want to go back and forth until all of that paint is blended in nicely under your horizon line, creating a nice water reflection. And don't forget our edges. Now you can very softly go over the sun in the middle, but not real harsh. We want it real soft so that the main yellow is in the middle. If you get too much, we'll just let it dry a little bit and you can go back over it with just yellow in the middle. Okay? But don't forget the bottom if you're painting your edges. Go ahead and paint the bottom now too. Alright, when you're done with that, go ahead and clean your paintbrush, and then we're going to start to make some little clouds. I like to use that angular brush that I've been using, but if you want to use a smaller brush, the number 4 flat brush works really well for this too, which I'll show you first. I'll use the 4 flat brush to make some small clouds around the sun. Now I'm going to use red for this, but I don't want red to take over my canvas, so I'm going to use just a little tiny bit. Now with making clouds, clouds are nice and round and they're not perfect on the top. And I can make a little line going in front of my sun, and then I blend the bottom, and I leave the top. I blend the bottom down in a round circular motion. And as I'm going out, the paint is almost out of my brush. It just begins to disappear. And I do that all the way across. So then the brightest part of that cloud is just on the top, and it's softer as it goes down. And if it's too bright, you can go over the top too and tone it down. But just remember to work your brush around. Don't do it all in one spot. Up and down and around. I'm going to make another nice red cloud over here. I don't want the whole thing to be red, so I might skip a little space and leave some orange. Just working our way out. Working my way around. Maybe I want another little cloud down here. Just a little one. painting. So wherever you want to put a cloud, go ahead and paint your little cloud there. Now I like to paint with a bigger brush, so I'm going to go ahead and put the little brush down. And I'm going to go back to my bigger angular brush. I got my brush nice and clean, dry it off. Now, I don't think I want any more red clouds. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some orange clouds with my larger brush now. So I'm just going to go over maybe where the two colors meet. I can paint some nice orange clouds going through here. Just going over where the two clouds meet and making a bunch of clouds kind of going through the sky. Now I don't have a lot of paint on my brush. Use just a little bit and I spread it out. So I'm going to work my way on this side now. Put some clouds here. Maybe I'll come down and back up and over. And then what I want to do is work that paint into the canvas by circular motions. I'm making little circles with my hands. And when I do that, I create all different tones, darks and lights in my sky. Maybe this cloud's going to overlap that red cloud. Overlap it. Sometimes you can just put a little bit of color going back and forth like this. That could be, ooh, that was really dark. Didn't mean to get it that dark. So, tone it down, just painting over it. But just a line here and a line there. Now see where these two areas meet right here? You can do the same thing with purple. Let's say I want to have a nice dark cloud right there. You can take a little bit of purple on your brush and you can make a dark cloud. I'm not going to do too many clouds up in the sky because we're going to be painting some stars and I want the stars to show up there. Nice nighttime sky. I'm not going to go too far up there. This looks like a storm kind of coming in right there. You can even take a little bit of that dark color and put a little bit in here around your sunset. I'm not going to do a whole lot though because I don't want it to look like it's fixing a storm. The darker you go, the rainier it looks. But for balance, I think I'll go right there. Okay. Now, remember what I said, whatever's here needs to be here. So down here in the water, let's put a little bit of red where the red would be in the water. And that's really bright, so just kind of scrub it in and blend it in. Remember keeping it back and forth like this, so it looks like water. Just a little reflection. There's my purple cloud. See, up here I got a really dark purple cloud, so I'm gonna take a little purple, put some purple in my water down here. How you doing, Jalen? You doing good? All right. Blend that in a little bit. When I get done here, if you need help, I'll help you, okay? See? It's looking good. So keep working your way down in your water. All right, let's go up into the sky. So I'm gonna go back to my blue. And up here, I think I will paint a little bit of cloud activity since I have some clouds down here with the dark blue just in the edges. You put the dark on and then you blend it down using circular motions until it kind of fades out. I think that's good. It's a little bit darker up here. Just kind of blending that top in, pushing it back. It's a nice nighttime sky going on up there. Like that. And then maybe in the pink areas I could do the same thing with some pink clouds. Add a little pink and make some pink clouds. Ooh, I like that one. Well, that one's really bright. And then fade them out and see the colors underneath start showing through then. So you have darks and lights in your different tones. By just adding layers to your painting. The first one we did was kind of like layer 1, and now we're working on layer 2. And those undercolors will start showing through. Now I kind of don't like that right there, so I'm going to go over it with some pink. The beauty about painting is if you don't like something, you can always fix it. There's really no mistakes. You can paint over it and over it and over it until you get it to the way you like it. Okay. I think that's good. I like that right there. So let's go ahead and get our brush nice and clean, and I'll show you how to paint the palm trees. So I'm going to go to my number 4 angular brush to do my palm trees, and I want just a silhouette. So I'm going to use black. And I'm going to start with these palm trees down at the bottom. So what you're going to do is once you have a fully loaded brush, fully loaded means that you put paint on both sides of your brush and you get it fully loaded. You're going to start at the bottom and you're going to come all the way up past your horizon line with a line. That's going to be your first palm tree. Now, obviously I want my palm tree to be fatter than that, but I want it skinny at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start wherever I stopped there. I'm going to paint down, making it fatter, and as I come down, I'm going to turn my brush very slowly sideways so that it gets fatter as you work your way down. So what you'll end up with is fatter tree on the bottom and a skinnier tree towards the top. Okay? Then go ahead and fill that tree in once you get it where you want it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and paint all the tree trunks. Then we'll go back and we'll paint. No, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to paint it like this. Okay, so first your tree trunk, and then we're going to paint 2 lines like we painted an arrow. And then from the arrow, we're going to paint 2 lines that come almost straight out. And then let's paint 2 from the middle that go up. Then you're going to go to the middle of the palm tree branch and you're going to just start pulling that paint that you just put on with that angular brush, pulling it down so that it makes your branches. Okay? You're going to do that on all, pull the paint down, and as you work down it gets skinnier down the from. That's it. I'm going to do that to all of these branches. And it gets real skinny out towards the end. So fatter up towards the tree and then work your way out into a point. Okay? Then you just look at the tree. Does that tree look okay? I think that it would probably look a little bit better if it had one more branch there. So I'm going to put one more on the top. Working it out to a point. Okay, that's our first palm tree. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint all of our palm trees. I'm going to do that now. And if branches overlap each other, that's okay, because branches would overlap each other if 2 trees were close together. Now for this painting, our trees are going to be reaching towards the sun. So we're going to paint in that direction. Now that one looks really skinny. I'm going to make that one a little fatter. Every now and then, just step back and look at your painting. See where you need to work on something. And then as an artist, the hardest thing for me is knowing when to stop. Sometimes you just have to stop painting. Let's see. I think that's kind of cool. And maybe I'll put one more kind of going this way. It's like it's going the opposite direction from the other ones. And maybe we just don't really see that one. We just see the bottom of it. Or, if it was the same size as this one, you might see a couple little branches which peeking around the edge of the thing here. Right? Now we're going to paint 2 palm trees up in the sky, but from the edge. So maybe 4 or 5 inches from the top, we're going to paint 1 palm tree that's reaching across the sky this way. There's our arrow. Pulling our little branches down. Let's do one over on this side. Looking pretty good. So now up here at the top, I think what I'll do is I'll just bring a couple branches or from-froms out like this. Just a couple little lines going out. And let's look where I could put another one. Maybe here. And I'm going to do the same thing. It's skinny. It comes down to a point. I'm just going to bring the lines down and make some branches for this little plant over here. The end of another tree. It gets fatter at the edge and then it comes down to a point. You know what, for fun, I think I might put a few here too. Like some little short plants. So all you would do is paint your lines out and just bring the plant out. Some plants going on over here that come out to a point and they're nice and skinny. Maybe you can leave some space so you can see the sunset behind it, behind the plant a little bit. Fill in some space. Now, we're almost done here, but we need to touch up on the bottom. Now, I like to paint my grass. I've turned my canvas completely upside down. And I like to paint my grass this way with my angular brush with the point up. I like to start at the top and just bring the grass down. And lifting my brush as I come down so that it comes down to a point. Now the ones on the edge would be longer, and then they get shorter as we're working our way across the canvas. So the ones on the edge could be longer, and then they would be shorter as we work our way across. And we don't want to cover up our water too much. So let's not make the grass too tall in the middle. Just a little bit, so you can see that there's grass down here in the ground. grass on, flip your canvas back over if you flipped it. Then you can look and see if it looks good or if you need to add some more plants. There's all kinds of little things you can do down here in the ground to make little plants. So just fill in that space with an upward motion, lifting your brush as you go up to make it look like grass. All the way across the bottom. Now grass is not the same size everywhere, so make sure that you have some that are longer and some that are smaller. And you can take your brush in different angles and create little things going on down in the ground. You know, leaves and plants and such. And that's right. So let me know what you think about my my very first tutorial. Now if you want to continue to work on this, I would say take some of your yellow and you can do some light reflection on these trees, on the edges of these trees and on the plants. Mix you a little bit of green and have fun with it. Thank you for painting with me. Bless you.